What is up, everybody? Welcome to a GJG Outdoors video. Today we are going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be actually going out to the shop and doing a more detailed video. It's something we're not usually doing, but it's what you guys asked for in the poll, so let's just get right into it. Okay, so we're actually going to be doing something a little bit different today. Yeah, hi guys, we're going to do a voiceover. This is the old sheath here. Yeah, we're doing a voiceover today, so this is going to be a little bit different. That's the old sheath right there. That's the knife we're going to be making a sheath for. As you can see here, it doesn't really fit. It does not fit too well. So we are going to be going in making a new sheath. So this is actually going to be interesting. If you guys like doing voiceovers, then we're going to be doing this now. Because it's actually not that hard. You can see me there. Checking the camera. You'll probably see me do that often. I drop a lot of stuff. We're pulling out the leather here. We're going to be using like this more sand dollar brown color. It's a little bit darker actually. It's more of like a deeper brown. Just kind of measuring it out here. You'll see me doing this for the next few minutes. We're gonna kind of measure it out, cut it out, get it all thinged here. This is not gonna be a step-by-step guide on how to make a sheath, because obviously every knife is different. Every knife needs a different type of sheath. Sorry about the camera angle here. You can't really see that too well. My arm's kind of in the way. But I'm just marking that with a little knife there. And then we're going to cut the folded over leather. We're just making a square right now. Making a quick, easy square to work off of. Get this big old roll out of the way. As you can see, I cut that part out there. And then I'm just going to trace that line with the scissors. These are leather cutting scissors. Not any scissor will do. You have to have actual leather cutting scissors. If this is too fast paced for you guys, just let me know down in the comments. But yeah. As you can see here, we're just cutting out right here. So now we are going to fold it over, get it all nice and flat together, and then try to fit up our knife. Just folding it over right there, measuring out, making sure we keep enough space from the edge of the blade to the edge of the leather. Almost everything you see here in this video you can buy off Amazon. But I'm marking right now where I want the belt strap to be. Not the belt strap. Just the strap to go over the blade. I'm going to cut it as far as I cut there. And then I'm going to go mark through in a minute. You'll see me mark back through and cut the rest of it out. But I'm cutting a double line up above it to make a thinner strap and a bigger gap in between it and the leather. Then we're going to check it. Then we're going to have to go to the other side and cut it out this way. Also, make sure your blade is always facing towards the open leather whenever you're cutting it. And depending on whether or not you're making a left-handed or right-handed blade, make sure you put the belt strap on that side, on the side you want towards the belt, and the actual strap on the other side. But we're just fitting it up here. We might do a time lapse here in a second. Maybe not here in a second. To kind of see that. You see here, I'm just tracing it out right now. We got that cut out. The first parts move pretty quickly. It's actually going to be a pretty long video. So, and then I'm just going to be cutting that line right there. Make sure we get that. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I'm going to actually be using that piece for a belt strap. Yeah, belt strap. Very nice piece for that. And then our leather folds up nicely, but we also want to cut the leather long so we have a nice, perfect belt loop. And as you can see there, that is what's going to be happening. Now that we have here, I'm going to grab this little pointy knife I have, and I'm going to poke it through the folded over leather onto both sides to figure out where I'm going to want to put my holes for my thing. We're going to want to offset one of them a little bit closer to the edge. That way, because there's going to be a space here between there with the actual hook. So we're going to just kind of draw a little circle there where I want to punch. Leather scratches really easily, so I'm just using the edge of that knife real quick to cut that. Here, you're going to see I'm going to be punching this This is just a standard little punch. You can get off Amazon. I don't know if I said this before, but everything in this video nearly you can get off Amazon. Obviously, I made the knife, and then the leather I buy from a separate place. But you can get leather off Amazon. But yeah, as you can see there, we got the 2 holes punched for the. There's going to be a couple more holes. We're just gonna kind of round this off at the corners there on the belt loop. I'll fold it over, make sure everything fits up nice here. Run it on down in there, and we're gonna fold that over, make sure everything's going good. Don't mind my head there, it's kind of in the way. Now we're feeling out where the blade's gonna land, so we can punch holes. Now for this blade, it actually has to be sitting in there a certain way. It's going to donation, so we want it to be pretty well perfect. So right now we're just punching holes. I actually think I missed the hole there, and I was wanting to do something. We're just making sure everything lines up good, because we want that blade to be stopped by a pin. And right here, these little pins I'm going to be putting in here, these little rivets. I know they're different colors. They are going to be swapped out. These are just holder pins right now. Now we're going to be sliding the knife in, still making sure it fits good. That's where I made my mistake right there. I slid the knife in a little bit too far, broke that pin out, but I got it fixed there. So now we're going to take our thing and make sure we're going to punch a hole. We're pre-punching holes, as you know. And right here we're going to be putting another hole along the edge of the blade. We're just measuring out there. You don't want to actually hit the edge of the blade because you don't want to chip the blade. You just want to go very snugly around it, because it's going to fit pretty close to about the same as that punch hole. But we're also gonna put one more up here just to hold the leather shut. We're gonna be sewing it obviously too. I like to add these little rivets because I think they really make the sheath look better. Which, if you're just doing something for your own personal use, you can do whatever you want to. I've done sheaths with only using rivets, sheaths with only sewing. It works both ways. Rivets they don't cut like thread does. I'll also be showing you there's many ways to sew. Very many ways to sew. In this video, I'm going to show you a way to do it like an X pattern. We're just making sure everything fits right here. But I also do other things, as you can see in some of my other videos. I've done like doubled over. I've done just one way. But if you don't have very much thread, there's also a lot of other ways to use a lot less thread. This way uses a lot of thread. But as you can see here, it holds very nice. Holds very nice. So now we're going to be pulling that blade back out. And I don't know exactly, we're doing a voiceover, so I don't know exactly what's going to happen next. So, if I'm a little late, we're just getting a couple of the rivets right here. And we're just going to clean that part up right there. Make sure everything fits up nice and smooth. Once again, if you're doing it for your own personal use, you can trim this and make this as fine as you want. For own personal use, if you're doing something to sell and you don't... Really, it just depends on how nice you want it looking. If it's for own personal use, like literally just want to be able to carry your knife and you don't really care about what it looks like, lot easier ways to do it. This is more, I sell these knives. This one's actually going to go to a donation. So we want it really, really good quality. We want to really show what work I can do. But we're going to put all those pins in on the edge of the blade. Of course, we're going to make sure it fits up right now. Also, as you can see, I'm not actually pinning the pins. Don't pin the pins as you're using them for placeholders. Just put them in there, click them together real quick, but don't actually stamp them down. We'll do that later. Here, I was just feeling out the edge of the blade and then cutting it. And make sure everything fit up good here.
Now I believe we are going, oh, yep, here we go. We're going to punch the holes for the sewing. Leather you can't actually sew through 99% of the time. So we're going to be using this little stamp punch. You can also get off Amazon. They come in like big packs. And I'm actually going to be marking my holes by taking one side and putting it in the previous hole. The camera's going to be a little shaky here, but we're just going to do this about a quarter of an inch or maybe a little less from the edge of the leather. And for this sewing style, you want it decently close. We're also going to have to be straightening out this punch a little bit as we go through. Making sure everything fits up nice. But yeah, we're just going to keep going down. I have a wood bench inside of my workshop to do all my stuff. I'll do you another room shop tour. My last one video was on the old channel, so I might do that again. But here we're just going to run this all the way down. But it gets stuck in that wood bench, and I pull it out, it bends the tool. But it also breaks easy. But we're getting closer to the end there. We're gonna go in between the pins and the edge of the leather, though. We don't want to go before the pins. The pins are there just to add a little bit of decorative detail and to stop the blade from cutting the thread. But as you can see there at the tip of the blade, I put that last pin in there to stop the tip of the blade from going any farther to cut the thread, especially there. So yeah, there we go. We got those holes punched. Now we're going to pull it back apart just to make sure we can get that all nice and flat. Take those pins out. I think we're about to do our stamp. Now this is not something that for normal use you would be doing. This is, oh, never mind. We're not doing a stamp. We're going to be making the belt loop. So we're going to grab that little piece from earlier, make sure it's the same size. Then we're going to take about an inch of it and fold it over and leave a little mark. I'm just cutting it to length here, then rounding off the corners. We want about an inch on the inside, and then bending it over. We want probably about 2 to 3 inches. Folding it over here, put that 1 inch on the inside, and so it doesn't swivel, we're going to be putting 2 holes on the inside. As you can see, there's one. I have quite a few punches, so we'll be able to do this. Here's 2. You don't have to have multiple punches to do this. It's just more convenient. I'm actually going and grabbing another punch because I thought I was going to be able to do something where I just bend it around and then was able to punch it again, but the punches ended up falling out and then the sheath fell on the ground. So you'll see this here in 1 second. Yeah, there it went. Gotta go grab that real quick. Then we're going to be taking that piece of leather that we stamped earlier and just bending it out to the outside. We're gonna finish that hole real quick. Sometimes they don't punch all the way through. On those cheap silver punches. That black one's really high quality though. Now we're just gonna be lining that up and sticking 2 little placeholder rivets in there, so we can get our measurement perfect for bending it over and putting the other thing. Because if it's not perfect, it'll put like stress on the leather and it'll bend it in all sorts of ways. Getting a quick swig of some Dr. Pepper. Not sponsored. That way we're just bending it over right there and putting that other hole in it. And that time we were on all 3 of those holes, we're going to punch through both sides. Now we're going to pull those pins out, Clean off everything. Make sure the leather's all nice and flattened back out. Okay, do not try this at home. This is very dangerous. And without parent supervision, do not try this at home. Unless if you are 18 or older. Of course. There's a little quick jump cut there. I had to go grab a lighter real quick. Apparently it wasn't in my shop. So here we're just going to turn on that little torch propane bottle. Grab that lighter. Some bottles don't need it. There's my stamp, actually. So this is the part that most people won't need to do. We're going to heat this up real quick. I'm actually going to put a time limit on just now. Okay, so we got it stamped out here. This is really good. This stamp actually went really good. Surprisingly, it went really good. Usually, it doesn't go too well. It usually, like, the stamps get kind of messed up. But this one went really good. That time lapse for the... Takes a little while to actually heat up the stamp. It's just brass. But, yeah, there we go. We stamped the leather. Got GJG Outdoors put straight into it. And now we're just gonna... Now we're basically just assembling the sheath. So, right there I'm just peeling off a piece of glue that was on my table from a knife drawing. But, so from here on out, I think we're just gonna be kind of putting everything together. I think we're done pretty much trimming and doing everything else. So, yeah. This is kind of where it gets... This is where it gets a little bit more difficult. Right here, I'm grabbing a couple more pins. This is actually where I've been grabbing the pins from the whole time, the little rivets. This little box you can get off Amazon, got all kinds of different colors and stuff. I think we're actually going to go with gold or brass for this build, just because it kind of more matches the knife colors than, I don't have any silver left, otherwise I would have used silver, but it basically just kind of matches the knife sheath the most, so we're going to be, putting that in there. This is going to take a minute, because I have to pick out, 1 second, I think it'll say, we need, we're going to need 7 of a few things. That's how many holes there is. Well, there's 3 for just the belt loop, and then there's 4 on the actual sheath. So, and then all these come with their own separate tools and stuff too. So, don't really worry about making or getting those. Just gonna pick out 7 of each one of these. Obviously in gold, except it's the color I need them in. I think that's all we need here, out of that box. And this 5. This is a different box. These are actually the, this is actually the, like, the button box. I got a new thingy. That old one was rusty and doled out. We don't really want to use that. It leaves marks on the heads of the things. So, we'll try to use a brand new clean one. And that one I made, and it's a lot better. It works a lot better. So now we have, gonna need 7 of these out of the rivet box. Then you're gonna need, 1 second. You're gonna need 7 of these out of the rivet box too. You get the idea. I keep dropping it, but you get the idea. You're gonna need 7 of both of those for this specific build. Obviously, as I said, each sheath is different. It's not gonna be the same for everything. Then you're gonna need 1 of those, the head. You're gonna need 1 of those, 1 of those, and 1 of those. Those all come out of the pin box. or the button box. And now we're going to be doing the main, like the top pin first. We're just going to stack that smooth piece and then that round piece. Put the smooth piece on the smooth side of the our little bottom plate. Then we're actually going to find another tool, which obviously comes with it, but it's right here. It's got that little metal rod and a tip on it. We just want to put it in that little donut shaped piece and move it all the way down there. Hit it with a hammer a couple times. Make sure it gets in there pinned really well. Pull that out. Make sure everything's flat in there. As you can see in there, it just went in there and bent down that little metal piece and pinned it kind of together. That shouldn't be going anywhere. Now we're going to take that little butt piece and use it to do the bottom of the button. We're just going to clip a little piece off there. It's kind of in the way. Then we're going to take that other piece out of the button box and stack it on the other side of the lever on top of it. Just like so. Then we're going to flip that little die over, and there's a little pointy piece. We're going to sit that bottom piece in there. And then there is another tool here that has a little divot taken out of the end. And that's just going to slide right over that piece. We're going to hit it with the hammer a couple times. We'll tap, tap. Now those hold together. We're going to make sure they fit up nice. We're going to leave them together for a few seconds. Make sure they all form together well. Make sure they're going to click together before you continue building the rest of the sheath, because if that doesn't work, you're going to have to redo that. So, yeah. Here we're grabbing those rivets, and with those rivets we're going to take them and put them together just like this. They're going to hold together just like that, except for we're going to put them actually on the leather first. I'm just pulling these two back apart. Just putting my scissors on one side. Those actually hold together very well without being stamped. Scissors on one side, and then we're going to use the claw of the hammer. Just pop them off. Then we're going to put them through the leather on the belt loop. We're going to want to do the inside first. We're just going to take them and put the two in there. Then we're going to put the two back pieces on there. And then we're just going to stamp that real quick together. We're done with that piece. We're going to pull out this other die that has a little divot cut out of it. It's got one on each side. One's small, one's big. We're going to be wanting the big side for this specific build because of those rivet size. Then we're going to pull out this thing. It's got a little, it's got like a piece carved out of the end of it. It's kind of hard to explain, but it just slides right over there, and we're just going to beat those down to that bottom die. Make sure whatever's facing outwards is actually in the die, because it leaves a nice finish on it. And the ones on the inside that you actually beat on get kind of flat. Now we're just going to be bending this little piece of leather over and putting another rivet in it, same exact way. So just watch do this real quick. I won't have much to commentate on. Slide that all nicely together there. Make sure you get that all finished and riveted up. And now we're just going to repeat that same process for the next 4 of these holes. So I'm going to put you in a little time lapse here real quick to get that done. Okay, so we got all those pinned up nice and tightly together. We're just making sure that knife fits in there nice and good right here. Kind of maneuvering around, make sure it fits at all places. Make sure it fits tight. It's another big part. Make sure it's all nice and tight and that the sheath still has a little bit of wiggle room. You don't want it to be stuck in there solidly and pushing up against everything. You want it to have a little bit of wiggle room, but mostly just tight. And yeah, that's just what we're doing right now. We're just finishing putting it up. It's going to take a quick second because make sure it fits on nice and good. And that's basically it for the assembling part. All we got left to do is sew now. So we're going to want to go ahead and get that all finished putting up there together. And yeah. Now we're probably just going to move on to the sewing part after we get this all fitted up. So finish fitting this up real quick and then we'll do that. Looking good, looking good. Cutting it. And going down. So now we're just going to do that. Okay, so here we just went all the way back down with that same stitch and we tied it off by going underneath one of the stitches and just doing 2 simple overhand knots. Then we're going to burn that off. So that's going to be the end of the video. That's in sheath. Hope you had a good time. See you in the next one. Bye bye.